Hi, I'm Darlene Love. Now don't go anywhere because Profile is coming right up.
Welcome to Profiles. I'm Marley Hall. Today's guest is Darlene Love, recognized by historians as one of the most influential voices in rock and roll history. Back in the 60s, along with producer Phil Spector, Darlene's voice made mega hits out of songs such as He's a Rebel, Today I Met the Boy I'm Gonna Marry, and He's Sure the Boy I Love. After a short break, we'll join our host Mickey Burns as he welcomes the talented Darlene Love to Profiles. Welcome back to Profiles. Darlene Love is widely considered the voice that launched 100 hits. New York Times describes her as embedded in rock and roll history as Eric Clapton's guitar and Bob Dylan's lyrics. Over the past 5 decades, she's left an everlasting imprint on the music industry. And this year, she'll be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, class of 2011. So let's join our host, Mickey Burns, on location from the Hotel Wales on the Upper East Side of Manhattan as he welcomes the popular Darlene Love to Profiles.
Darlene Love, welcome to our show Profiles.
Thank you.
One of my favorite singers of all time. And you look great.
Thank you. I feel great.
As you should. Because first off, congratulations on being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2011.
Thank you. That sounds so funny.
I know. We never thought we'd get to this point, did we?
Right.
At this point in your life and career, what does this induction mean to you?
It says my peers do believe in what I've been doing for almost 50 years. Because probably when I stand up on that podium and look out over the audience, half of those people that are in there, I'm sure I've worked with in some way, somehow, in this business, because I started out as a backup singer. And then with Phil Spector. The wonderful thing about it, they've always treated me as an equal.
Sure, as you should have been.
Thank you. And they've never treated me as like, you're just a backup singer, But they treated me as an equal, which has been, it's the validation,
Right.
It's wonderful.
Right. But you're being inducted among some great company. That includes, let me get this right, Neil Diamond, Alice Cooper, Dr. John, Tom Waits, and Leon Russell. Will you get to perform at the ceremony?
Yes, that's what's fun. And I can't wait because Leon Russell played the piano on all of those Phil Spector records.
I didn't know that.
All of them. He was one of the musicians in the Wall of Sound.
And you'll be introduced by whom?
I just got a Google alert, and it said that Bette Midler is going to introduce me. And I said, yes, because we have a history, too. So it's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild. Now your career began in the 60s as the voice behind the legendary producer Phil Spector, as you mentioned, and his Wall of Sound. And you recently said of Phil, he heard something back in the 60s that nobody else heard.
When we used to go to a session, the producers would actually tell us what do you hear as a backup singer or lead singer.
Okay.
Tell us what you hear, and then we want you all to do that.
Yeah.
So we actually arranged. When we started working for Phil Spector, he told us, this is what I want you to do. I want you to sing this, I want you to do that. One thing that was great about him that he taught me, melody.
Yeah.
Because he was a producer that loved to hear the melody. And he actually made me a melody singer.
Now, amongst the numerous hits that you had with him, they include He's a Rebel, The Do Run Run, Today I Met the Boy I'm Gonna Marry, He's Sure the Boy I Love. And recently Bruce Springsteen, who's become a good friend of yours, and Elton John both told you that your collaborations with Phil was the beginning of rock and roll. Do you agree with them?
Well, I have to. mean, when you think of who Bruce is and who Elton is, you know, you have to go. I mean, was like, yeah, well, okay, if you say so, you know.
Right.
But I thought that was one of the greatest compliments that I could get,
receive,
you know, that
music,
I received from my peers, which I didn't know they were my peers yet.
Right.
You know,
right.
but they were listening to all those songs because I didn't even know for years. One of the songs, Fine, Fine Boy, was a song that Bruce does in his show all the time, you know. So when we did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 25th anniversary, that's the song he wanted me to sing.
For our viewers who may not be familiar, what was the Wall of Sound?
The Wall of Sound was instruments that Phil used that nobody else used, and he overdubbed them. He would bring it down a couple of notches, and then he'd overdub again. I'd never seen that before in all the years that I had been back doing sessions. Right. Everybody went in the studio at the same time, all the musicians, the singer, the lead singer. He did it a little at a time. He did the music. He always had me in the studio with him while he was putting down the tracks.
Right.
Then we put the background voices on later, and then we put the lead on. I'd never done that before. He even overdubbed my voice, and I went, you can't do that. I'm going to tell him, right? Nobody's ever overdubbed my voice. It's so big, and, you know, how can you do that? I mean, even after the sessions were over, he would bring in Leon Russell or Sonny Bono and put on more percussions.
And Cher.
And Cher, yeah, let's us not forget Cher. And Leon Russell, and put more on top of more. Strings, always more on top of more. So that's where that sound came from, Wall. He is the one that found the echo chamber in Gold Star.
He was it.
And that's what he started using too. Nobody was doing that yet.
Yeah. And years ago, I heard you in an interview talking about your first impression of some of these songs. Right. And you mentioned, you said, you know, you weren't sold that they would be big hits because you felt they were kind of bubblegumish.
It was because it was the time that we were in, and those are the kind of songs we were singing.
And you were like more of an R&B blues singer.
I thought I was. But Phil proved me wrong because I had rock and roll hits. I didn't have no blues or no rhythm and singing.
He was right. He was right.
They put rhythm and blues with black singers, whether I was singing rhythm and blues or not. But Phil was slick in everything he did. He did not tell people we were black or white.
No. There was a point where I know he had not given you the many, I mean, you had #1, all these were #1 hits, and you hadn't gotten paid. I know you sued him, and you won in court. Did you ever get paid?
I got paid. It took 7 years,
but
I got paid,
yes. Good for you. Now today, as most of us know, Phil is doing time in jail on a murder conviction.
Right.
What were your thoughts when you first heard that he was arrested for this crime?
What happened, it scared me because in the back of my mind I told Phil years ago, if he keeps messing with guns, somebody's going to get hurt. I say it's always an accident. Even with what happened with him and Lorna, I believe it was an accident.
Yeah.
I don't believe Phil took a gun and shot somebody. I don't believe that, but I believe it was another accident like him in the studios. Yeah. I wouldn't go in the studios with him when he had guns. I'd turn around and go back because I said, guns don't kill, people kill.
Very, very good. Of all the people that I've heard on camera regarding Phil's case, I think you might be the only one that's defended him.
Yeah. Well, maybe because I was around him when he was just Phil Spector. Yeah. Not the crazy Phil Spector he ended up being. And what was great about Phil and I, he respected who I was, and he respected my talent.
Sure did.
Not enough to pay me, but he still, he respected my talent, who I was, because he used to say, I don't know nobody on the planet can sing like this girl.
Right, right. But the payment was a minor detail.
Right. Yeah.